Welcome back to Hobby Universe Outdoors. Today I'm going to be using this Cub Cadet 27-ton log splitter to get that pile of logs all split up and ready for campfires. Up until now, all my videos have been instructional videos or product reviews, things like that. That's really not what today's video is going to be about. As far as instructional video on how to use a log splitter, they're pretty basic, and I'll talk about it as I go through it, but really they're not that complicated. I don't think I need to make a video dedicated on how to run a log splitter. So today's video is primarily just going to be getting some wood split. I'll get it moved, I'll get it stacked, and I'm actually pretty excited about that. So I love being outside. I love to get things done. By tonight, maybe I'll have a sore back, maybe I'll stub my finger or something. I mean, who knows? There's just something to be said about a day of hard work and just how good it makes me feel. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I got to believe there are other people watching this video that feel the same way. If you're looking for an in-depth review or an overcomplicated video on how to operate a wood splitter, this probably isn't for you. If you just want to hang out and I'm going to split some wood and get it stacked, that's what's going to happen right now. So appreciate you taking the time to watch. So just doing that little bit right there, what I'm doing is I'm throwing the wood on the ground after I'm done splitting it. And that doesn't make a lot of sense because I'm going to have to put it in the wagon to get it to the place where I want to stack it. So I think I'm going to pull my trailer around, and that way I can just throw the wood right in the wagon, saving me a step. There, that should be a little bit easier. As I'm making this video, I'm actually starting to realize that my logs are drastically different in length. You know, I've got some like this one down here is probably 20 inches. This little guy here is probably closer to 14 or 16 inches. So I think I need to do a better job of getting these all a consistent length. And the reason for that is when I go to stack the wood, I want it to be nice and flat. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't burn any different if it's 12 inches long or 20 inches long. Who cares? But as far as aesthetics and what it looks like when it's all stacked up, I would like it to be nice and neat. And I can't help but think of some of the other YouTube creators that are out there. Outdoors with the Morgans. Mike Morgan is one that I watch quite a bit. The guy stacks his wood. It is nice and flat. Mine's not going to be like that. My wood lengths are all over the place, so maybe I'll get better at that. Well, that's weird. I was just trying to split this pretty big log and it started making a really funny noise, which it's never done before. I think the first thing I'm going to do is check the hydraulic fluid just to make sure my level's okay. If it's not that, then I'm not sure what the heck's going on. Check the hydraulic fluid level on this thing. You need to make sure that the oil level or the hydraulic fluid level is 3 to 3.5 inches from the top. So what I did was I marked on this hacksaw blade. I just scratched off the coating on it. So there's 3 inches, there's 3.5 inches. So hopefully if I dip down to here, I don't see oil because you don't want it over full. And I'm not seeing any hydraulic fluid. I keep calling it oil, it's hydraulic fluid. If I dip down to here, I should see hydraulic fluid. And there's just a tiny, tiny bit on there. So I'm right at the bare minimum. I'm going to go ahead and add some hydraulic fluid. So I added some. I don't want to add too much. I want to make sure that I don't overfill it because they caution against that as well. So I got the hydraulic fluid full. I'm really hoping that was the issue. We're going to give it a shot. Hey, here we go. And I got nothing. Crap. Now I don't know what's going on. Crawled underneath. And where the pump attaches to the output shaft on the bottom of the motor, there are these two guys here that should obviously interact with each other, right? Well, this one has a set screw in it, and it's kind of hard to tell. I guess maybe there's a set screw in there. I'm hoping the set screw didn't come out. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to stick an Allen wrench in there and make sure that that set screw is tight, but I got to believe it is. So, you know, I'm not a log splitter service guy, so I can't say for sure, but you know, this and this should be interacting with each other, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'll have to do a little bit of research and see what I can find out, but it looks like maybe that, actually now that I look at it, it looks like maybe that jumped up. I don't know. We'll see. I'll let you know what I find. The area I need to access to be able to continue monkeying with the pump and where those two parts come together is actually right under here. A lot of this is in my way, and the good thing about these log splitters is that you can actually raise them vertically. So if you have some really, really big logs that you want to split, instead of having to, you know, lift them up and heave them up on top of here, this thing will be vertical, and I'll show you what that looks like now. Should be able to just raise that up. There. That's going to make it a lot easier for me to get under here, I think. While I was in there reaching around, there's this one flat surface, and I thought, man, if the set screw came out, I wonder what the chances are that it's laying up on this flat surface. I didn't find a set screw, but I did find this weird little broken piece of blue plastic. I have no idea what this is. I'm honestly hoping it's just something that's unrelated to the log splitter, and it just happened to get up in there somehow. But yeah, so I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I don't know what that is or why it was there. I was able to get on there with one of my standard Allen wrenches. It was an 1/8 inch. And the main thing I wanted to do was to make sure that those set screws were not loose. And I got on there and they were very, very tight. I started thinking about it, and you know, I had that piece of plastic that I found up in there, and maybe this thing just failed. You know, I guess that's possible. So that's what I'm going to look at next. I got this log splitter used. I don't have a manual for it, but I'm going to do some digging around online and see what I can find out about this. I'm going to look and see if maybe this isn't the culprit on why the hydraulic pump stopped on my log splitter. So I'm going to do some digging. I'll come back and I'll let you know what I find. I did a little bit of digging on my phone, and I did find some exploded views of these Cadet log splitters. I don't think I found one exactly for this model, but they're all pretty much the same. And I found something that looks suspiciously like this chunk of plastic that I found. It's called a spider coupling, and it goes between those two teeth. So you've got the motor coupling, and then you've got the pump coupling, and then between those is where this little piece of plastic, it should be an entire ring, would go. I don't have another one of these. I don't think it's anything I can find local. I did find them online. They're pretty cheap. It's like 15 bucks. So I've got to go out of town for a couple days. Maybe by the time I get back, it'll be in my mailbox waiting for me. And I'm not going to order just one either. You know, they're pretty cheap, 15 bucks. And if it is a wear item or something that may break, then I want to have one on the shelf in the garage, ready to go if this were to happen again. So I'll get one to make the repair, one to have on hand, just in case. So that's going to pretty much take care of my log splitting for today. I got maybe 25% through my stack of logs. It'll be there waiting for me when I get this booger fixed. I did get a decent amount split. You know, I'll take that over. I'll get that on the the wood rack, get that out of the way, and just wait for this little piece of plastic to come in. I was talking about the varying lengths of wood. This is what I was talking about. I think I can do better than that. I'll just have to be more careful next time. This is some really nice cherry. I had a tree back in the woods by the second stream that came down sometime last year, and really, really big tree. So every once in a while I go back and I cut off a bigger log and I drag it up here, cut it into smaller lengths, so that way I can split it and have my firewood, and I've still got at least half that tree back there, maybe more. In fact, a couple of the logs, I mean, they're huge. So that'll keep me busy next year as well. There's another cherry tree that looks like it's not in great shape. It might come down also. So if that happens, I'll get into that also. So this seems to be a pretty good length. I'm guessing this is probably 16 inches, which I know is the standard when you're cutting firewood. If you want to, be able to sell it and you're going to sell it by the cord, you want 16-inch lengths. So that's probably what I'll shoot for. It's weird. My wife, she's not really into the firewood stuff, but we have campfires and all that. But as far as the wood, she's always telling me she prefers, longer, larger wood. So I don't know what that's all about, but, who am I to argue? So I guess I'll just start cutting it a little bit longer. Right? And that's going to do it. This would probably last me a couple months. We don't have a ton of fires, but when we do, they usually last a while. And I'm always monkeying with it, so I'm always throwing more wood on than's probably necessary. And get this back down where it belongs. I'm just going to leave that log in there. No reason why not. It's not hurting anything. When I get it fixed, that'll be the first thing that gets split. Okay, we're solid. Get this bad boy put away. I just got this ball I stick on here. That's good enough. I don't get it super tight. It's just finger tight with that lock washer. I'm just buzzing around the yard a little bit, so I'm not super worried about it. I've never had that come off. Finger tight should do it. While I feel I'm pretty good at backing up with a trailer, I'm not willing to take any chances in bumping into a car. So I'm just going to manually put this back in. A little bit safer doing it manually. Certainly don't want to have any regrets rubbing up against that thing. I'm going to get that little spider coupling, well, actually a couple of them, on order. When those come in, I'll replace it. And when I do that, I'll make a video. So if that's something you'd like to see me work through, then make sure you subscribe, and it'll pop up here on my channel fairly soon. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up. If you're not already a subscriber and you like content like this, hit the subscribe button. And that's it. I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Enjoy the rest of your day and be safe.